Hello everyone, welcome to Chilled Trades, where I analyze stocks so you know what's going on. Today we're going to be covering probably your favorite stock if you're clicking on this or curious about this stock at least, AMC. So I've seen a lot of videos about, what's going on with the stock, the news updates, the dark pools, the short interest, all these things. But today I'm just going to be covering the technical side of things. So the reason I want to make it is because we are seeing a breakdown technically, and so we want to try to see what that might mean for the price headed into the next couple months. If you're here and you haven't hit the sub button yet, please do and join the squad. We're growing rapidly, and some of you guys are coming into the Discord, link in the description as well, so come join that community. But let's get into things. So the first thing I want to look at is just the Rsi and Macd. And the reason I want to focus on these is because we're having some very important and interesting things starting to happen. So when we look at the RSI, sorry, brain fart, RSI, something really important. And so there's two ways that we use RSI. One is to figure out when something's overbought or oversold. The second thing is to determine momentum. And so when we dive into this, we've had positive momentum for a long time. When RSI is over 50, we're typically in a positive momentum of the stock, which typically means upward momentum or positive momentum. When we break below 50, we're typically headed into negative momentum or downward price action. And what we've seen here is we see RSI on AMC go below 50 for almost consistently all the way since the end of last year. So that's really, really significant for the price moving forward. And when we focus in here, we actually see that we broke below 50 and we tried to come back and break back above and are currently failing that. And so if we see this start to come down further, we're definitely having more downside. We really need RSI to break above this 50. And if that happens, then we have a possibility of more upside. But if we saw that rejection as a true rejection, this is definitely coming down, which means the price is coming down. We also want to look at MACD, because when we're focusing on MACD, we see a crossover here back in June, which is showing negative momentum, and basically since that point we've had a downward price action, which is what you typically see. But more importantly is that we've now in negative territory, so that's really, really important. And again, just like RSI, we haven't been in negative, we haven't been under zero, I should say, not negative. We haven't, well, it is negative, but we haven't been under zero since back in last year. Essentially, yep, back in December, same time frame. And so we're starting to see two indicators shift in a very negative way, which is really important for retail traders to know. I don't think a lot of people are talking about these changes that have recently happened, so you really need to keep an eye on this. The stock is unpredictable, and any day it could move up or down 20, 30, 40, 50%, but we're starting to see a little bit of negative, we're starting to see some negative indicators kind of flash red flags, and so these are things you really want to pay attention to moving forward. The next part I want to look at is the EMAs. Actually, I want to go back to this chart real quick, because something really interesting, I was trying to find like where could potential price points be in the short term, and then we'll use the other chart to figure that out. So when I go on the daily, I'm seeing the 100-day be at about $25. And then we'll go into the next chart and show that why that also could be a point. We also have really big support there. And then when we go on the 4-hour candle and we go to the 200-day moving average, the 200-day is also at $25. So we see a lot of things stacking up at $25, and that could be a price point in the near future. So let's go ahead and go to the other chart to figure out if that's true or not. And so first I want to look at the daily, and I have the 20-day, the 100-day, and the 200-day EMA up here. So the purple line is the EMA, the 20-day. And what we're seeing is we see some rejections off of the EMA as well as resistance. And so what we see here, first, we have the first fail of break under. It's the first time we've been under the 20-day EMA since the launch off back in May. That's really, really important. So we broke below, we've come back, and we also broke below this really important range. You see a lot of accumulation back here. So in the past, if we would have come down and bounced off there, we were probably going to test this trend line, and if broke that, go higher. But we broke below, and so we had a big day, a down day, then a big green day, tried to break back above the 20-day, failed. The next day, tried to break above stay above support and break above the 20-day failed, and that's why it had this big move to the downside. And now what we're seeing again is we've had 2 failed days of both resistance, which is this zone, and failed breakout above the 20-day. So we see it right here, and then we see it right here. It tried to poke back up, and then we had red, and it came right back below. So this is something we want to pay attention to, because the 20-day is something I always look for more short-term momentum. Whenever something's coming to the downside, comes up and tests 20-day and fails, it typically starts to see this kind of pattern. And so we're going to really want to pay attention to that 20-day on the daily chart. When we zoom in some more, we're seeing the 100-day EMA come around this support line. So if we do move down, I actually have the 50-day as well because that was important. Let me bring that up. We don't need the 20-day anymore. So we broke below the 50-day, which is another major a major sign, because we've only broke below it once back here. We came back above, and now we're back below it. So we're back below the 50-day, and we're at a really important range of support. So if we can't hold support in the next couple days and see some positive price action, then I would say it's almost certain that we're going down to this back support between 33 and 31. And the reason is because this gap. So in the past, when a stock moves up quickly to the upside, when it moves down, it's really easy to move back through that because there's not a lot of consolidation to hold the stock up. And so if we break below this part, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles that kind of consolidated and tried to break above, or did break above that price. So now that's really important support. So we really need to hold that. If we do break down, like I said, kind of back in this 33 zone, and then we also have this long-term trend line from before the push up higher. And so if we come down and test that, that's also around the 33 range, and we really need to hold that. And I said if we can't hold that, then we're probably definitely coming back to this $30, which is the bottom of this low from a couple days ago. And we'll probably see this 100-day kind of move its way back up a little bit over the next couple days. It's starting to flatten out, but it'll probably slowly move its way up to about $30 as well. So we're coming up to a really important part for the stock to hold, to continue. Like if it comes down and holds, like we'll definitely have some bullish momentum, but this is a very, very important range to hold. So those are the things I want to look at. And then I want to go to the 4-hour because there's some really interesting things on the 4-hour. So let's zoom out a little bit. I need to make zoom out zoomed in enough so you guys can see everything. I've started to do that. So on the 4-hour, on the 50-day, the 50-day was about where the 20-day was last on the hourly chart. So right here, you see 5 candles failed to break out above the 50-day and support and hold support, and that's the downside. And then again, just like the 20-day, we failed the 50-day on the 4-hour. And ironically enough, we have the 200-day at around 30 on the 4-hour. So what we can see here, and we have the 100-day basically where the 50-day was, and today we were not able to break above the 100-day. And so we're seeing a lot of red flags start to flash for AMC. And so if we do continue to downside, like I mentioned before, we're definitely coming down on this 32 to 30 range. And if we can't hold that, that's why I brought up this other chart while we were first talking about, is because when we look at the Emas, the moving averages, which is more of a long-term momentum for a stock, we're seeing both on the 4-hour and the daily candles that there's a lot of support at this 25. So if we break below this past 30 support, we're probably pretty quickly moving to $25. And the reason before, as I mentioned, when you don't have much price action in a range, the stock moves really fast back to the downside. And so if we do not see positive momentum, which we're not seeing a whole lot of positive momentum, I could definitely see $20 in the near future, or $25 in the near future. This is a little bit longer term, but if for some reason we're also continuing to see more and more negative action, we are seeing, maybe that was on the moving average. So we also see a lot of support around the $20 price point. There's another moving average somewhere hovering around 20 bucks. Oh, here it is. It's the 200 EMA on the daily chart. And that's where, again, where we see a lot of accumulation. So I would say if we don't hold, we're going to 25. If we can't hold that accumulation around 25, we're probably coming down to the 200-day sometime in the next couple months. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there for the community because I want all of us to win, and those who are trading AMC, I hope you guys win on the stock. That's my hope for you guys. But I just want to show you there are some red flags starting to show that we haven't seen since the move higher. But I hope you like the content. I hope it helps you trade this stock if you are in some fashion. I'm on your side. But I make a video every day, guys, so I'll be back again tomorrow.